Dr. Laub, I know you have done quite a bit of research and testing to find out just how safe humic acid is. Could you tell us a little about your toxicity studies regarding humic acid?
Yes, the toxicity of the materials that I have taken a look at, including synthetic materials, those studies were carried out by Bioscreen laboratories in the Southern California area. What we did in that case was live animal studies with Swiss Webster mice. We tested dose levels up to essentially 1,000 milligrams per kilogram body weight. None of the mice died. None of the mice had any adverse effects, even at the maximum dose that we were able to inject into the mouse. 200 mice were used in that study, and no problems whatsoever were seen. We couldn't go higher than that because we couldn't inject any more into the tail veins of the poor mice. That was the maximum concentration we could do. In terms of humans, the average human weighs somewhere in the vicinity of 70, 80 kilograms. Well, let's suppose 70 kilograms was the number. That would be 70,000 milligrams that a human could take based on the animal toxicity studies and not have any adverse effects. That would be 70 grams a day of humic acid. That would be an extraordinary amount. The most that one would take of humic acid would be, say, 250 milligrams twice, 3 times a day. So that would be, say, 6 times 250. That would be, gram and a half or so, 2 grams, perhaps if one were taking 8 doses of humic acid a day. So we're looking at 70 grams certainly being safe as tested by mice, and the maximum dose for even therapeutic use, even in the instance of severe illness, would only be 2 grams a day. So there's quite a built-in safety factor there. And as I said, we're not sure that 70 milligrams per kilogram body weight is in fact 1,000 milligrams per kilogram body weight is the upper limit because we weren't able to actually cause death in mice at that level. We couldn't inject any more than that into the mouse. In the literature, there are a number of other studies of toxicity of humic acid that cover other species. Dogs, rabbits, other types of mice, and of course human beings have been taking humic acid for tens, if not hundreds of years on a routine basis. And again, to the best of my knowledge, there have never been any reports of death or serious illness caused by humic acid itself. What has happened in some countries of the world, particularly Bangladesh, one that comes to mind, some places in Asia, where there are high concentrations of arsenic, of all things, in water, local waters, and that's not an uncommon situation throughout the world. Sometimes fresh water may look very inviting, but it's not safe to drink, even in a very, very remote area. There are local deposits of minerals which are harmful, and in some cases, one of those minerals happens to be arsenic. Humic acid chemically is a very good chelating agent. That is to say, it binds to metals readily. Arsenic is one of those metals. And so there are problems occasionally found in regions of high arsenic concentration in the water, where people will eat food grown in the soil, kind of thing, drink the water itself, and will develop arsenic poisoning. There are a number of scientific reports, as well as at least one book I'm aware of, published recently, that describe those effects. So, arsenic aside, humic acid itself, again, so far as I'm aware, or so far as I've reviewed the published scientific literature, essentially has no upper toxic limit.